Hello, YouTube, and welcome to The Real Siberius. In this episode, I wanted to talk about the 2026 NBA Championship odds that I just saw. And I'm just curious what you guys think. So here they are right here. They have OKC at number one. Makes sense. They're the current NBA champions. Makes sense that they would have the highest odds. However, back to back is a challenge. I think the Knicks are a solid bet. However, I think it's funny that the Pacers aren't even in the top 10, even though they just played in the NBA Finals. The other one that stands out to me as a bit ridiculous is the Lakers at number 8. LeBron's playing for the Lakers this year. Unless they pay him to sit out, I don't think there's any chance. They haven't made it past the first round in years. I don't know. I can't even remember. And I know that, LeBron fanboys will say, oh, well, he made a all NBA second team, last year. Well, with a negative plus minus. So who cares? That was a pity award. And anybody who gives it any credibility obviously doesn't care about merit, because he certainly didn't merit the reward. So every other position on this list, I don't have a huge problem with. The Nuggets will be interesting to see how they do. The Rockets, I have hopes for. It'd be nice if they can remain injury free and see how that goes. The Clippers made a lot of moves. I'm curious to see how they will perform. The Cavs, I'd like to see them do well. I know that somehow if the Cavs win a championship, even within the next few years, LeBron will find some way to say that he made it possible for them. I don't know. He'll find a way to take some form of credit for it. Or he will do something to steal their thunder. He'll announce his retirement that day or during the finals. He'll try to, sign a one-day contract with them so he can retire as a Cavalier. He'll do absolutely anything that he can do to try and steal their thunder. Regardless of how far they go in the playoffs, if they win the chip, he'll make it about himself somehow. I'm not an OKC fan. In fact, I don't really like them at all. I think they're a talented team, but I certainly don't think SGA deserved the MVP. And I don't know, I was slightly disappointed that they won the chip. That's just my own bias. That's one of the things that I have always kind of enjoyed about sports is you can not like people or not like teams or not like coaches or not like organizations for the most arbitrary of reasons. There doesn't need to be any reason or logic behind it. You can just say, I like this person because whatever, and I hate this person because whatever. I think there are people that are genuinely deserving of hate. But yeah, I've always found that interesting that for 30 years, I was a Minnesota Vikings fan. And so I hated all of their rivals. I hated all of the NFC North, especially the Packers. I still hate them to this day, even though I don't watch football anymore. And the reason why I don't watch football anymore is football used to be my favorite sport of all time. I was so ridiculously obsessed with it that I would watch the combine, I would watch the draft, I would watch 3 games back to back to back in a day. Once I got NFL Sunday Ticket, sometimes I would watch as many as 5 games, especially when I could watch the condensed version so it wasn't nearly as long. And they've just stolen all of the lifeblood out of the NFL, if you ask me. Now, I don't mean to go off on a tangent about football, but the reality is they've done it to all sports. They have stripped away defense and prioritized offense and prioritized scoring. But in my personal opinion, and I may be alone, if you can score a lot of points in a league without defense, who cares? What made greats great was they were still able to accomplish what they did against stout defense. That's what made it great. So I'm sorry when I see Mahomes destroying other teams that, quite frankly, like, I haven't watched the NFL in a few years. But the competition at quarterback and on defense does not seem what it used to be. There are no more Peyton Mannings and Tom Brady's and Drew Breeses and Aaron Rodgers, and there's just not that level of competition anymore. And so being successful, in my opinion, means less. If you didn't have to compete for it, if you didn't have to overcome for it, then did you really earn anything? I mean, who am I to say I'm a crippled, I don't get to play sports anymore? But it doesn't mean I don't compete. I've talked about it in other videos. Because of the physical state of my body and mind, I have to compete playing video games because my body can't do it anymore. But I am a fierce competitor in the games that I play. And I'll be fucked if I'm going to let people be better than me. I'm going to put in the work. I'm going to put in the time. I'm going to call people out if they're not meeting my expectation, which I hold myself to. If I expect other people to do it, I damn sure expect myself to do it also. And if I'm not pulling my weight, I want to be called out also. Anyway, I know this got way off of topic as far as the 2026 NBA championship odds. I just thought that having the Lakers in the top 8 is ridiculous. And as long as LeBron is there, they're not in the top 10. I don't even think they should be in the top 15. I mean, Luka's going to get them points. LeBron's going to get them points. But they don't win when they need to win. And the reality is, I would bet, since LeBron is not being extended, he's not going to give a shit. So I don't think he's going to try as hard. I think he'll load manage more. I think he'll flop more. And I'd be surprised if they make it to the first round. They may make it to the play-in, because awful teams can still make it to the play-in. I'd be curious to see what you guys think. Do you think OKC can repeat? I mean, they're a pretty stacked team. And they seem to get it done when it counts. I mean, the Pacers gave them a run for the money, but they didn't get it done. So a win's a win. But I'd be curious to see what you guys think, or hear what you guys think in the comments. If you made it to the end of the video, I appreciate it. And as always, I want to give a shout out to the content creators that inspired me to create this channel. Uncommon Sense, Angry Old Hoops, Self-Researched NBA Facts, 93Z, Sports and Fitness Rants, Uncut Hoops, Scap Attack, Speam Engine, In Your Face Hoops, Eddie TV. I thank you for all that you do, and I'll see you guys in the next one.